أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Lesson number 151, Surah Al-Kahf, ayah number 9 to 26. In the following ayat, we will learn about the story of the people of the cave, the companions of the cave, the Ashab al-Kahf. In Surah Al-Kahf, there are many stories that are mentioned. And each story demonstrates the different types of tests that people go through. For example, the story of the people of the cave. What is the kind of test that they're going through? It's the test of religion. It's the test of Iman. And through this story, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows to us what we should do, how we should remain firm, how we should not get distracted by the world around us, and we should remain firm upon their religion. That how, despite the opposition, going against the flow, how we are to remain firm. If these people can do it, you can do it too. And in this is a great lesson for all of us, a great comfort as well. So let's begin the story. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Am hasibata, or do you think? Meaning, O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do you think, have you supposed, have you assumed that anna ashab al-kahfi, that the people of the cave, the companions of the cave, wal-raqimi, and the inscription, kanu min ayatina ajaba, they are among our signs a wonder. Do you think that they're amazing? No, there are far more amazing things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done. Am hasibta. Am means or, whether, rather, and it appears in two different forms. So basically there are two different types of The first type of is the muttasil. What does it mean by muttasil? That which is connected, that which is attached. So what does it mean by that which is attached? That which is attached with a previous that which is attached with the previous word that gives the meaning of Like for example, أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ, whether you warn them or you don't warn them. So over here, is muttasil. Why? Because it is connected with the previous word that gives the meaning of istifham, that gives the meaning of a question. أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ, whether you warn them or you do not warn them. Like in English we have either or. So the first type is muttasil, the one that is connected to the context. And secondly, the second type of is the munqati', the munfasila, the one that is separate, the one that is detached. Meaning, before this there is no word that gives the meaning of or that gives the meaning of question. Like for example over here, the sentence begins with the ayah begins with So over here does not mean or, meaning either or, but it gives the meaning of rather. Is it? Rather. Is it? And when it is used in the munfasil form, which is the second form, it is used for the purpose of istifham. It is used for the purpose of interrogation. Sometimes it gives the meaning of bal, rather. Basically it is to raise the listener's attention. When you begin a sentence with a question, what's the point? You want to draw the attention of the listener completely to what you're going to be talking about. Whenever you begin a sentence, whenever you begin a speech with a question, the purpose is to raise the listener's attention, to draw it completely to what you're going to be talking about. To avert it from what their mind was previously in, and then direct it completely to what you're going to be talking about. So over here, is of the second type. And why is it used over here? Why is it said over here? To raise our attention, to draw our attention so that we focus completely on what is being said. And sometimes it is also to give the meaning of istifham nahi, meaning, is it that you think like this? Meaning you should not think like this. So hasibta, or do you think? Meaning, you should not think like this. Hasibta from the root, ha, sin, ba. Ha, sin, ba. From hisban, which means to think, to regard something as such. So hasibta, or do you think, or do you regard, you deem, that, anna, that indeed, ashab al-kahfi, companions of the cave. Ashab is the plural of the word sahib. And sahib is from suhbah. Suhbah. And suhbah is what? Companionship. Suhbah is companionship. To be in the company of someone. And the word sahib is used in several ways. First of all, it is to show that someone is in the company of someone, and then we translate the word sahib as companion. Sometimes it also means inmate, dweller, one who lives somewhere, one who stays somewhere. And this is when someone is identified with something or someone. When someone is identified with something or someone. Like for example, Ashab al-Qaryah, people of the Qaryah. What does it mean by this? That the people are identified by what? By the Qaryah that they live in. Similarly over here, Ashab al-Kahf, why is it said companions of the cave? Because they are identified by the cave. They're called the people of the cave. Why? Because their story is about how they went to the cave. So they are identified by the cave. So over here, Ashab al-Kahf, what does it mean? People of the cave, because they're identified with the cave. Al-Kahf is from the root kaf hafa, and kahf is used for what kind of a cave? That is very wide and spacious. Kahf is used for such a cave that is wide and spacious. So do you think that the people of the cave were raqim and the inscription? Al-raqim is from the root ra, qaf, mim. Raqama. What does that mean? To write, to inscribe. In the Quran, kitabun marqum. A book that is written, a book that is inscribed. So raqama literally means to write, to inscribe. And ar-raqim, what does it mean by ar-raqim? Raqim gives the meaning of marqum. Raqim gives the meaning of marqum, meaning that on which something is written. Raqim, that on which something is written. So a tablet or a slate. A tablet or a slate on which something is written. Secondly, Raqim is also understood to be an ism alam, a proper name. It is also understood to be a proper name. Proper name of what? Of a mountain where the cave was. Now what does it mean by this part of the ayah, Ashab al-Kahfi wal-Raqimi? The word wow over here has been understood in two different ways. The first is of atf. The first is of atf. Ashab al-Kahf wal-Raqim. The people of Kahf and the people of Raqim. The people who are identified with the Kahf and the people who are identified with the Raqim. So basically one kind of people. The people who are identified with the cave and the Raqim. What does it mean by this? This has been understood as that the people of the cave, their names were inscribed on a tablet or a slate. And they were known as the Ashabul Raqim as well. Why Ashabul Raqim? They were identified with that Raqim. Because their names were written there. Their story was written there. Their time was written there. Their time of existence. Secondly, wow over here has been understood as the one that separates between two. And this is understood as the people of the cave, and secondly, the people of the Raqim. And this gives the meaning that the people of the cave were different from the people of the Raqim. Ashab al-Kahf wa Ashab al-Raqim. People of the cave and the people of the Raqim. Two different people. Two different groups. The first meaning is what? That they're the same people. They're identified with the cave and they're also identified with the Raqim. The second meaning is what? That the two different people. The Ashab al-Kahf and on the other hand, Ashab al-Raqim. Two different people. And who are the Ashab al-Raqim then? Ashab al-Kahf, yes we know, their story is going to be mentioned now. Who are the Ashab al-Raqim? It is said that it's the story of those three people who got stuck in the cave. And remember when they prayed upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by mentioning their good deeds, and eventually the rock moved and they were able to go. And it is said that al-Raqim refers to the name of that mountain. It is the name of that mountain or the valley where that cave was, where those 3 men got stuck. Scholars have said that it refers to those 3 individuals from the people of the past who were once traveling through the mountains, and there was a storm, and all of them, they went and took refuge in a cave. And what happened? A huge rock came and it blocked the entrance of the cave, and they were unable to come out of it. So what did they do then? They began praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they began mentioning their good deeds, that, oh Allah, if I did such and such good deed for your sake, then please relieve us from this difficulty. What did one of them mention? That I had old parents, and I also had my children, and I used to look after my animals, and every evening when I would come back, I would milk my animals, and first I would give it to my parents. And once I got home very late, and by the time I brought the milk to my parents, they were asleep. So I stood there standing the whole night, and I did not disturb my parents. So if you know, O Allah, that I did this for your sake, then please relieve us from this difficulty. What did another man mention? That I had a cousin whom I loved immensely, more than any man could love a woman. But obviously there was no nikah between them, and he wanted to enjoy her sexually. And she put a condition that he had to give her 100 dinar. And he managed to collect all of that money, and when he gave it to her, and he was about to perform that action with her, what did she say? Here. And he stopped right there. So he said, oh Allah, if I did this for you, please take me out of this difficulty. And another man, the third one, what did he do? That somebody came and worked for him, and he had some money that was to be given to that worker. But that worker did not take the money, and he left. So what did he do with that money? Did he just use it? No, he invested. And so that money, it increased, it grew. And after some time, the man came and he said, you had to pay me this much money, give me my money. So he said, you see all of these animals? They're all yours, take them. He said, are you kidding? Are you joking with me? Don't make me a fool. He said, no, I'm not joking. This is yours. So he took it. So he said that, oh Allah, if I did this for you, then please save me from this problem. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you think what happened with the people of the cave and what happened with the people of the Raqim, كَانُوا مِنْ آيَاتِنَا عَجَبًا, they are of our signs, ajaban, a wonder, that it's very amazing as to what happened with these people. Yes, what happened with these people was definitely amazing. It was a big sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, of His power, of His wisdom. However, there are many other signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well that are more amazing, that are far more amazing. If you look at the people of the cave, just to summarize before we go into the detail, what was their story? That it was a group of young men who had accepted Iman, and they suffered from a lot of persecution. So in order to save themselves, in order to save their Iman, what did they do? They left their people and they went and they hid in a cave. When they got there, they slept, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them sleep for over 300 years. 300 years. And the way the cave was, that how the sun would rise from one side and it would set on the other side, so the sun would never shine on them directly, and their bodies were made to turn constantly. All of this was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's great mercy upon these people. So you think this is very amazing, that how Allah rescued His servants, how He protected them, how He saved them. Allah can in fact protect His servants in a much more amazing way. Why do you think this is mentioned? Because this surah was revealed in Makkah, when the Prophet ﷺ and the believers were suffering from a lot of persecution. And obviously when they would hear such an incident, they would be amazed that, wow, look at how Allah helped them. So in a way, they're being comforted. You think this is amazing? Allah can help you, Allah can rescue you in a far more amazing way. So this is reassurance for the Prophet ﷺ as well. So if Raqim is understood to be literally inscription, then it refers to who? The Ashab Al-Kahf. And if Raqim is taken to be the Ism Alam, the proper name, then it refers to Ashab Al-Raqim, the 3 men who got stuck in the cave. And in that meaning, Raqim refers to what? The proper name of that valley, of the mountain where that cave was. So Allah says, Am hasibta, or did you think that indeed Ashab al-Kahfi wal Raqim
كانوا they were, min from ayatina, our signs, ajaba, strange, a wonder. Ajab is from the root ayn jim ba. That which is very strange, that which is surprising, that which makes a person wonder. So do you think that these are from our signs? Ajaba meaning shay'an ajaba, a strange thing, a wondrous thing. Meaning you should not think like this. Yes, it is very strange. Yes, it is very unique that this happened. But there are much more wondrous things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. And because the previous ayah talks about what? About the establishment of the Day of Judgment, that everything is going to come to an end. That we're going to make this sa'id and juruza. So you think that this is strange? Or do you think that this is strange? No, it's not strange. It's easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do. Id when? Id over here means udhkur, their story. Whose story? The story of the Ashabul Kahf. Awa, he retreated, he took refuge. Awa is from the root Hamza, Waw, Ya. Hamza, Waw, Ya. What does it mean by awa? To take refuge. What does it mean? To take refuge somewhere, to take shelter somewhere. We have done the ayah where Nuh alayhi salam's son said, Sa'awi ila jabalin. I will take refuge in the mountain. So awa, he took refuge, he took shelter. Who took shelter? Al-fityatu, the young men, the youths. Where did they take shelter? Ila al-kahf, to the cave. Awi ila jabalin. Over here, awa ila al-kahfi. The word fitya is from the root fa-ta-ya. And it's the plural of the word fata. It is the plural of the word fata. It is said that the word fitya is a jamr qillah. What is a jamr qillah? Where the number is less than 10. Where the number is less than 10. And fitya, fata is used for a person who is of a young age. How young? We did this word earlier in Surah Yusuf. I explained to you the difference between fata and ghulam. Late teens. Fata is used for someone who is in their late teens. Basically, it is used for a young person who has reached their height of quwwah, of their strength, and also azima, determination. And you will see that people in their late teens are like this. They're very strong physically, and they're also very determined. Once they make up their mind to do something, you cannot change them. Sometimes they're very firm on what they believe in, on what they're going to do. So fata is used for such a young person who has reached their kamal in their quwwah as well as in their azima, in their determination, firmness in understanding as well as physical stature. So إِذْ أَوَى الْفِتْيَةُ إِلَى الْكَهْفِ, when they took refuge in the kahf. فَقَالُوا, so they said, رَبَّنَا, our Rabb, meaning they prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they took refuge in the cave, that, O our Rabb, atina, you give us, min ladunka, from near yourself. Ladun is like inda. It's more specific. Min ladunka, from near you. Rahmatan, mercy. Give us mercy from yourself. Wahayyi, and you prepare. Lana, for us, min amrina, our matter, rashada, guidance. Hayyi is from the root ha, ya, hamza. It is from the root ha, ya, hamza. Hay'ah. Hay'ah. Hay'ah means the appearance or the state of something. The appearance or the state of something, whether it is tangible or intangible. The howness, how something is. Appearance, state, form of something, whether it is tangible or intangible. When something is well formed. And when something is formed, when something is ready, that it has a specific appearance, what does it mean? That it is prepared. It is arranged. So hayya'a is to prepare something. It is to make something ready. It is to prepare something, to make something ready, to set it up. And then it is to provide means to someone. What is it? To provide means to someone. Because you can only provide some means to someone when you have those means ready and prepared. You can only give a car to someone to use when you have the car ready. You can only give some money to someone when you have the money ready. So hayyi is a fi'l amr. You prepare, you make ready, you provide. Meaning you, O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, prepare and provide lana for us min amrina, regarding our matter, regarding our affair, meaning our circumstances in our life. Rashada, guidance. Rashad is from the root Rashin Dal, and the word Rushd, Rashad are also different masdar from the same root. Rashad, Rushd, Rashad, all the same thing. And what does it mean? Right and proper guidance. In other words, O Allah, tell us what to do. Guide us. Show us the way.
So in Awal Fityatu, when these young men, they retreated, they took shelter while they had escaped from their people in order to preserve their iman. Where did they go? Ila al-Kahf. And when they got there, فَقَالُوا, so they said, رَبَّنَا, O our Lord. They made dua to Allah, that, O our Lord, آتِنا, you give us, مِن لَدُنْكَ, from near you. Give us from yourself, rahmatan, mercy. Give us mercy from yourself. That give us especially from you. Because what comes especially from you is excellent. It is the most effective. It is the most beneficial. So, آتِنا مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً. Give us from yourself mercy. Now what is this mercy that they're praying for? What kind of mercy do they desire from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This rahmah can be understood in various ways. Like, for example, direction towards a straight path. Tell us what to do. What should we do? How are we supposed to obey you? Which way are we supposed to go? Similarly, this rahmah also can include forgiveness of sins. It can also include worldly provisions. It can also include concealment from the enemy. Because they had escaped from their people in order to hide from them, in order to protect their iman. So they needed the rahmah of Allah in order to remain concealed from them. So, آتِنَا مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً وَهَيِّئْ لَنَا, and you prepare for us. You provide for us. And the word hay'a, it's used both in the tangible sense as well as the intangible sense. Like, for example, something appears to be very bright. This is what? Tangible sense. Something appears to be very sensible. This is what? In the intangible sense. It seems to be very beneficial. You learn about what it can do, about its functions, and you say, yes, this is going to work best for me. So it's the appearance of something, whether tangible or intangible. And the hay'atu shay is to prepare something. It is to make something of a certain form so that it is most suitable for the work that is to be done. The hay'atu shay is what? To prepare something, to give it a form that is most suitable, that is most appropriate, that is most correct, so that the work that is to be done with it can be done. Like, for example, it's possible you get a phone and you think that it can help you find your way when you're lost on the road. Perhaps the reception is very good. All the features that are on the phone, they're very good for you. And you get it, but once you start using it, after some time you realize it's not that user-friendly. It doesn't fulfill the purpose for which I got it. So what does it mean? It's not prepared for the work that is to be done. So over here they say that hayy, you provide, you create, you furnish, lana for us, min amrina, concerning our affair, rashada, a right direction. Meaning you guide us in the circumstances that we are in. You prepare the means of guidance for us. You tell us where we should go and what we should do. Because we have no idea. Now just imagine a young group of people. A group of people who are very young in their age, late teens, perhaps early 20s. And they have embraced their religion of Tawheed. And the law of the land is that if anyone accepts Tawheed, he is going to be finished. He is going to be persecuted. So they leave. What kind of concerns will they have? What are we going to eat? Where are we going to stay? What am I going to do? How am I going to go back to work? You know, many times you hear about stories of people who have converted to Islam. And when they become Muslim, and their families have said, you're not welcome here anymore, what kind of circumstances are they going through? They're having questions such as, where am I going to stay? What am I going to eat? Where am I going to get money from? How am I going to continue with my education? Who is going to be my friend? Who is going to be my family? People wonder. So just imagine this was the state of these individuals as well. But who did they turn to? They turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't turn to people. They don't sit together and fret and worry and cry together. No, what are they doing? They're turning to Allah. They're praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That, oh Allah, what we need is mercy from you, not the mercy of people. What we need is guidance from you, not the guidance of people. Because the person who trusts upon Allah, وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ, then Allah is sufficient. It is mentioned in some narrations that after the time of Isa a.s., there were some young men belonging to the village of Ipsus in Rome. And these young men, they had believed in the religion of Tawheed. They believed in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, the place where they lived in, everybody, they were polytheistic, including the ruler of that land. And the ruler of that land was very oppressive, and he was also very tyrannical. He was very unjust. And he had passed a law that if anyone becomes Muslim, if anyone embraces Tawheed, he is going to be killed. And he had commanded his people that they must adopt idolatry. So everybody, generally, what did people do? They succumbed. They did whatever the king told them to do. However, these young people, what did they do? They refused to comply. But instead of having a protest, instead of creating a riot, instead of going and rebelling against the king, what did they do? They said, let's just leave. It's safer. So they left. And when they left like that, you can imagine the kind of concerns they had. So at this time, they turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. They sought to overcome their own weakness. How? Through the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And their vulnerability through His protection. Because they knew that they were very vulnerable. So what did they seek? His protection. They knew that they were deprived. They had very limited resources. So what did they ask for? His mercy. And when a person is in a difficult situation, this is what he must do. Especially when he's being tested with regards to his religion. Because it's possible that you start something for the sake of Allah. But other people, they oppose you. To the extent that they don't allow you to do what you're supposed to do. At this time, what is the best way? That you turn to Allah for help. That, oh Allah, I am weak. I need strength from you. I am vulnerable. I need mercy from you. I need protection from you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who has most power over everyone. So what happened? How did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them?
فَضَرَبْنَا, so we struck. عَلَى آذَانِهِمْ, upon their ears. ضَرَبْنَا is from the root ضَرْب, رَبَ, ضَرْب. What does ضَرْب mean? To strike, to beat, to hit. And sometimes when you strike something, what does that mean? You have to throw something, you have to cast it. So the first meaning of ضَرَبْنَا over here has been understood as that we threw, we cast. ضَرَبْنَا عَلَى آذَانِهِمْ, what did we throw on their ears? ضَرَبْنَا عَلَى آذَانِهِمْ, we threw, we cast on their ears. What? It's not mentioned, but what is implied is a hijab, a veil, a screen. And what did that do? It put them to sleep completely. ضَرَبْنَا عَلَى آذَانِهِمْ, it's like figurative way of speech. Not literally that we put a hijab on their ears and so they couldn't hear and they went to sleep. No, what does it mean? It's figurative. ضَرَبْنَا حِجَابًا عَلَى آذَانِهِمْ, and we put them to deep sleep. And secondly, this has also been said that, you know how sometimes you put children to sleep, how? By patting them. Their backs or by their head, by their ears. So ضَرَبْنَا عَلَى آذَانِهِمْ means that we put them to sleep. It's a figurative expression which means that we put them to sleep. But why is it said like this? To show that they were put to deep sleep. Such deep sleep that they didn't hear a word. They didn't hear anything, any sound. Because sometimes what happens, you're sleeping, but you're sleeping very lightly. And if somebody comes or somebody goes, or if there is a sound, what happens? You hear it and you wake up. ضَرَبْنَا عَلَى آذَانِهِمْ means that they were put to deep sleep such that they could not hear anything, which is why they didn't wake up.
You see, there are two types of sleep. One kind of sleep is khafif. What does khafif mean? Light. So when a person is sleeping, a very light sleep. And when a person is sleeping like this, you make the slightest sound, even what's going to happen? They're going to wake up. Right? But the other type of sleep is amiq. Deep sleep, which prevents hearing. That if on your head, even if someone is beating drums, even if there's construction going on, and there's a lot of cutting of wood and banging on the walls and hammers and chainsaw, etc., nothing will wake you. Generally, what happens? If a person is sleeping, he cannot sleep beyond a certain point. Isn't it? Even if no one disturbs you. You sleep for 12 hours maybe. You will sleep for 13 hours. But eventually what's going to happen? You will wake up. Why? Because you're tired. You get tired of sleeping even. Or you get a headache. Or you become very hungry. Or you're thirsty. Or you're very uncomfortable. Perhaps you were sleeping on one side and that side of your body is hurting. Or your back begins to hurt. Or you have to go to the washroom. Or something or the other. Isn't it so? But they were blessed with such sleep that they were very comfortable in their sleep that they didn't even need to get up. They didn't even need to. And especially when a person is worried, when a person is anxious, or when a person is sleeping in a new place, or when a person is sleeping somewhere out in the open, then what happens? He cannot have a deep sleep. He will wake up every hour, or he will wake up after every few minutes. Now just imagine where they're sleeping. In a cave. Are they anxious? Are they worried? Of course they are. They have just left their town, and it's just a few of them, and they have no idea what they're going to do, where they're going to stay, where they're going to live. They have no idea. So you can imagine the worry and the anxiety that they must have been feeling. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with a sleep that was so comfortable that they slept undisturbed for many years. This was the rahmah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed. This was the mercy that He gave. If you remember, at the Battle of Uhud, what happened with the believers? That while they were so concerned and so worried and so anxious, they were overcome by sleep. Because when a person is made to sleep, what happens? He relaxes. He relaxes. So this was a great blessing of Allah.
So فَضَرَبْنَا عَلَىٰ آذَانِهِمْ فِي الْكَهْفِ, in the cave, meaning while they were in the cave. For how long? How long did they sleep for? Sinina, years, adada, a number of years, many, many years. The word sinin is a plural of sana. And adad means number. And over here adad gives the meaning of mardud, meaning a number of years, many years. And how many were they? 309 years, as we will read.